Oh, it's so cold, that. And I have a cold. It's winter and there's a storm coming. The joys of YouTubers. What Audi has done here is take their very sharp suited Q5, shoehorned a big engine in there, 347 horsepower from a 3-litre diesel, and they put an S on the front of it, turning it into a homicidal maniac. I'm going to explain to you how it becomes a homicidal maniac in this review. So hit the subscribe button and come on, we have a look on the inside of what makes the difference between Q5 and SQ5. So, sitting at the front of the SQ5 feels like basically any other Audi, I have to say. That's no bad thing. Audi construct an interior better than pretty much anyone else that I can think of. Even the big luxury brands, for what they do, these interiors are sumptuous. They're put together so incredibly well. But I do have some serious problems in the current range of Audis, and I'll explain why when I turn on the car. Okay, let's point out, it's grumbly. I know I get the 3-litre diesel thing is grumbling away there, but let's point out a few salient facts. First of all, this is not a touchscreen. And I'm not sure why they didn't bother with the touchscreen part of it, because this twiddly knob works fine in the Audi system. But if I do what's necessary to get the bloody phone out of my pocket and plug in my phone, it becomes Apple CarPlay. Android Auto also works perfectly well on this, and the interface is fine. Look, it's gone straight into Apple CarPlay, no problem. But to add a destination or to do anything in Apple CarPlay, you have to use the twiddly knob to go from thing to thing, and that just doesn't work, Audi. This idea that you can't touch what is designed to be a touchscreen. Apple CarPlay is designed to be touched, to be used as a touchscreen with your thumbs or whatever, and so this is not correct. Now, the Audi system itself works fine. So if you go back to the normal menu from the Audi thing and you go back into whatever menu they have, this all works absolutely perfectly. But as I can point out, the difference between, I'll just unplug my phone so it doesn't pick up that phone. If I want to go to a destination on the Audi system and I press the nav, I'm going to go to new destination.
Which destination would you like to navigate to? Please state addresses in the order: town, street, house number.
Weston Airport.
Please say the street or say start route guidance.
Now, right now it says Ballinasloe, Weston. Okay, so that's not where I wanted to go. Weston Airport is up in Dublin. It's on the way. It's kind of in Kildare-Dublin border. Completely wrong and out of its depth. Now, to show you the difference between it, voice control, a sat-nav that comes with your car versus a sat-nav that comes on your phone, I'm just going to add it. This is Google Maps I went into. Add destination. Voice search. Weston Airport. Bang. 52 minutes from here, Weston Airport. Takes you straight there, doesn't give me any other options. If you're paying extra for sat-nav in your car, you're at nothing really, no matter what the car is. No car can keep up with what Google Maps does and what even Apple Maps does. They're consistently updated. You do have to give up all of your personal private secrets to use it, but it's still updated every single time. Voice control is brilliant in the car if it works and works consistently. That setting a sat-nav like that is just frustrating. Just trying to tell it I want to go to Weston Airport. It is an airport, an actual registered airport here in Ireland. You can land in it as a private airport. Next to Dublin Airport, right next to Baldonnel Airport as well. So they're all right there together, and it couldn't tell me which ones. It didn't even give me any option. Even though I said the word airport, it did not bring me to the place airport. Anyway, the touchpad that's here as well also has a bit of a problem in that when you want to write something, so suppose you want to go to navigation here, and I want to type something, so I'm going to go W E S T O. I'm still not getting my T-O-N Weston. It's still not there now. I was talking about places in England, in Weston-super-Mare. Ballinasloe is here again. No more places in England, more places in Shrewsbury, Bath. These are all places in England. It only knows one Weston in Ireland by the looks of things, and that is Weston in Ballinasloe. So it needs an update. It needs something done to it. And because it's not a touchscreen, I'm still, if I wasn't using my phone to do this, I would still be sitting here going, where is Weston Airport? How do I get to that airport? And I only worked out because yesterday I was at the launch of a car in Weston Airport and I wanted to get around the M50 crash, and I was looking at the sat nav and it's not connected up and it's not working that way. Anyway, moving on from that system, I have proper manual buttons and knobs here for the air conditioning system. Very important. Bring back knobs, hashtag. Underneath that I have drive select, which is on the wrong side of the car. It's off over there at the passenger side because this car is normally left-hand drive, as is the volume control for the stereo, but that's okay. Beneath that I have that big touchpad. I have a little slot here. It looks like it's supposed to be for a mobile phone, but you put something into it as soon as you accelerate because it's 347 horsepower. You put your foot down, the whole thing just comes back here. And then there's a proper knobs and buttons for the radio and the media and all sorts of stuff. A gear stick. I have the anti-stall system built in and the handbrake, and then there's a little slot here again, looks like for a mobile phone. 2 cup holders behind that, able to hold everything. And then there's a kind of a wireless charging table here that I can't for the life of me work out. Is that a wireless charging table or not? Go back, let's slide back to that. And underneath here's another USB key and an aux connector, which is very useful as well. I have them all there. Steering wheel is the S-line steering wheel, flat bottom on it and a kind of an edge to it. Flappy paddle behind that. Active cruise control, and all the wheels and knobs are here. Totally digital dash apart from the 2 gauges on the other side. Quattro and S is the only way you'd know you're in something special in here, apart from the seats. The seats are heated leather and beautifully manufactured seats. They have a little pull-out section at the bottom here, longer on your legs, and they're all electric. Beautiful, beautiful seats. The glass roof in this one as well, and a kind of frameless mirror around the edges. It's a beautiful interior. The letdown right now is this interface from the Audi system. From the CarPlay system, it's fine, but it's not a touchscreen. So it's quite frustrating to use. I want to go now on my sat-nav, but I can't. I have to twiddle the knob till I see go light up. Which some would say is better. Some would say, oh, that's safer. But it's not safer. I'm sorry, it's not. I'm used to using touchscreens like everybody else. It's just not. Anyway, moving on. Back seat. Let's do it.
Your mobile phone is still in the vehicle.
Only Audi thinks of those sort of things in the Volkswagen group. Seriously, reminding me that my mobile phone is still in the vehicle. Thank you, Audi. But it's okay, stay there. Okay, back seats. This seat is set for me, and as you can see, I have acres of space, miles between me and that seat. Hard plastic back on those seats as well. Quite nice if you have small kids in little seats, upright seats, and they're kicking the back of your chair. It's not going to prod you in the back too much. One thing I will say is it's quite dark back here with these tinted windows. That's why they've put in the glass roof. So without the glass roof, it's going to be fairly dark back here. Temperature control is actually here. This is a 3-zone climate control. So there is a 3rd zone back here. 2 in the front, 1 in the back. There's 12-volt socket only back here, which is a naughty demerit point there for Audi because that should be a USB port these days, or 12-volt and USB. There is a complicated armrest, or Ella as my kids call it. It's got a big hinge here and a pop-up cup holder. It's complicated. I don't know why they have to make it so complicated. There's no ski loader through. It doesn't really matter because the seats fold flat. That's just something that bugs me all the time. Now, folding these is not straightforward from in here. There isn't a handle on the top. There's actually a handle at the bottom down here that allows you to do that, but it's quite awkward to do it from this side. But so I'll get out and do it from my own side, right? I'll show you. So it's quite easy to do with a handle here. It just drops down flat completely, and the seatbelt tucks nicely in out of the way. It's quite an easy system to use. Again, just push it and it pops up to you. It's back up where it was. These seats are very, very comfortable. I really do appreciate how nice and pleasant these will be on a long drive as well. Right, to the boot. Okay, so boot space. But before I open the hood, actually, this is a clamshell. So it's this whole shell opens up the entire thing and takes the lights with it. You'll see these 2 lights go up as well. And you're left with blanks. I don't really like that design, Audi. I don't know why I don't like it. I just don't. It looks wrong. Like there should be something there, but there isn't. Tail lights are still down here, and reversing lights and stuff are still on the bottom, so that's okay. But just the shape of it looks weird. Anyway, in the boot I have good shopping bag hooks. I can drop the seats from 2 handles here on both sides. They don't fall all the way down, but they go down mostly. And underneath here there is what looks like a subwoofer, maybe. It's plugged in anyway to something, so maybe it is a subwoofer in the boot of the car. Also you get the usual first aid kit and reflective vest and stuff. Plenty of space in here. The tonneau cover's quite nice, fits up into this yoke and then drops away like a big curtain. Very rapid deployment. And it's all electric. You can also lock the boot from these 2 switches as well. Not just the boot, the whole car. So as you walk away you can press the lock button, locks the entire car. Very straightforward. Nice, isn't it? Just goes down nice and gentle. It's quiet as well. It's freezing out there. Coffee. Not sponsored by 9 grams, but if you want to get in touch, you know where I am. This is the SQ5 rather than just a Q5, right? So I have to get out of here first of all. So when you start it up, there's many modes on this, many modes. Even off-road is there too. When you start it up, it does actually just sound like a diesel, right? It can't help that, obviously, because it is just a diesel. This is in ordinary mode. What's ordinary mode mean? I'm in off-road. Hold on. So if I go into auto is the car making up its mind what it thinks you're doing. So it's deciding whether you're being a hooligan or you're being a very nice ordinary person carrying your family to school. The Q5 is actually a really comfy car to drive around in. It's a big machine, but it's not too big for daily use. It's not as big as the Q7, so it's not that I'm a giant on the road, I'm not sure I'll be able to park this thing. It is actually a pleasant car to poodle about in, and this is another one of those cars. Now, before I get into the whole detail of everything that's inside the car, I just want to point out the Irish price of this car is 101,000 euros. Now, there's no good way of saying that. That's not an easy thing to say, really, because you're buying into a point of the market that's quite popular. We've got a number of cars in this point of the market is pretty good, but we don't have any S versions of cars that are this good. Now, of course, what we're here to hear is, if I go into auto, goes to dynamic is next. So dynamic is what we need next, right? Now you hear the difference in, now it suddenly sounds a bit like a V8, right? It covers ground very quickly in dynamic mode and in this sort of S mode or SQ mode. Now, not as nice as a petrol sound to go with it, but from a petrol you'd have to put a V8 or a V10 or something into a car to get that sort of performance, and then you're just going to be putting fuel in it every 5 minutes. Whereas this is actually fairly fuel efficient. For a car of its size, it's fairly fuel efficient. Let's just check out how fuel efficient it is. So I've been hard enough on this now since I've had it. I'm getting about 8.5 litres, 9 litres per 100 kilometres, somewhere in that region for common daily use. I've been in dynamic mode quite a lot because it sounds nice. I like things that sound nice like that. It actually sounds nice outside as well as inside. Very hard to show you what it sounds like outside without having a mortgage and a sound engineer, because outside sounds require wind noise and all that sort of stuff. What don't I like? The interface, the non-touchscreen interface thing, I don't like that, and pretty much everything else is okay. Suspension is a little bit on the kind of wibbly-wobbly side over certain kinds of bumps. It depends on the road surface, particularly in dynamic mode. You can really feel every little, like I can tell you whether the white line is broken or solid. That's a broken white line. I can tell by the feel of it on the road, not just because I can see it. There's a solid white line. Yep, that's definitely solid. I can feel that through my butt cheeks because the road surface is just that kind of clinical. If you flick about through the modes, you'll find that you've actually got individual, which allows you to set up a different way. Off-road, which is there too. Efficiency, which makes the whole experience worthless because you bought an SQ5 to be efficient. Why? Why did you buy an SQ5? We've also got comfort mode, which I can't quite work out what's comfortable about it because the suspension is still pretty firm in it. And then you go back into auto, where the car decides what it's doing for itself. Would I pay 101,000 euro for the pleasure of driving an SQ5? Well, yeah, if I wanted something that was particularly fast and I was going to pull a horsebox every once in a while, yeah. If I want my face peeled off every once in a while, yeah, sure. I think this car is very similar to having a really good-looking friend, you know, and he dresses really well and looks handsome and he's gorgeous, but you find out on the weekends that, you know, he stabs kittens to death or something. And that's kind of what this car is. It's like this normal car, and all of a sudden it becomes a homicidal maniac, particularly if you go into dynamic mode. And when you're kind of doing, like, it's changed down a couple of gears already. So when you're doing like 70 kph and you go, the pressure comes on your face. It's like that electric car feel, that kind of pressure down on you the whole time, that turbo that's cutting in and just driving you forward, and it's very pleasant in that respect. It's very nice. I think there's a lot of competition in the market for that kind of money. There's a lot of stuff you can have out there that's going to give you the kind of performance you're after without having to compromise on a sort of a diesel. I wish this was seriously Audi. You did an Audi bi-turbo a few years back. The Audi A6 and A6 All-Road came in a bi-turbo, and the sound of that car was, oh my god, I didn't care it was a diesel. It made no difference. The noise was just fantastic. This is more of an electronic sound to it, more of a kind of fake feel to the whole thing, even though this is a 3-litre diesel with 347 horsepower, so it's no slouch or anything. So do I want it? Yeah, but I always want a fast Audi. Fast Audis are brilliant. Brilliant things. Would I buy it myself? No. There's a lot going on in the Audi group you could buy that wouldn't have to be an SQ5, you know. There's an RS5, which would be more my style. One thing you got to watch out for in Ireland, if you ever drive a sheep, if you see sheep, slow down, because those sheep can and probably will cross the road for you. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully by now you've hit the subscribe button. There is a list of links down below to help support this channel. You can also tune in every Sunday for the Sunday service. That's where I do a 2-hour, well, most Sundays do a 2-hour live broadcast where you get to ask any questions you want for the full 2 hours of that time. It really does fly by. Really is thousands of questions on this during the day. So if you want to join in every Sunday about 2 p.m, multiple other videos on the way as well, all about different things to do with financing, cars, BIK, company vehicles, all that kind of stuff. We're trying to research all those sorts of things. So if you can help support that research in any way possible, you can donate any amount from €1 to $1 to whatever currency you operate in, at a list of links down below. Become a Patreon if you really want to look after the channel. That's a monthly subscription and a small amount. Or you can do the PayPal thing and do it all in one sort of shot. Whichever one it is brilliant. But thank you very much for watching. At the very least, hit the subscribe button. And until the next time, I will see you on the far side.